So welcome everyone. This is another series of Build Your Book. I'm with Shayla Johnson of Revive Massage and Wellness. And we're going to talk about how to make Groupon work for you. So Shayla, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little more about your practice?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shayla with Revive Massage and Wellness in Loveland, Colorado. I actually just launched a second location in Greeley, so I'm super excited about that. We specialize in deep tissue and injury rehabilitation. If you hear weird noises in the background, I have a puppy. Sorry about that. I don't know what she's dragging around, but she's got something. She is actually an office dog, so when I'm in the office, so is Elsa. I have one employee currently, and I am hiring in a second employee this month. I'm super excited. There's a lot of growth happening.
That's so awesome. And sounds a little bit scary.
If it doesn't scare you a little bit, is it even worth doing?
Congratulations. You know what's cool is a lot of people talk about, I know this is a solo massage therapy group, but there are a lot of people who fear hiring and fear growing. So maybe we'll have you back again to talk about your experiences.
There are so many things that I was terrified of that are stupid easy.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll definitely have you back again to talk about that, because I see that people talk about that a lot. So
it's a lot less daunting than I thought it was going to be.
Awesome. That's so awesome. So Groupon, right? Love-hate relationship. People hate it. There's so many ways to market your practice. And if you go on these Facebook groups, you see, somebody every week, somebody asks about Groupon, and then they're like, oh, I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I love it. So why did you choose Groupon?
Because when I started my practice, I had very little to no money to invest in marketing.
Okay. That makes sense.
It was a good way to generate traffic to my website and into my practice without me having to have money up front.
That makes sense. So then it sounds like it was good for you. Why do you think people hate it so much?
For the reasons that I still have a love-hate relationship with it. You have your Grouponers that are never going to pay you full price. They're just not. I have one person, when I initially launched Groupon, I was working several different jobs. She saw me at my practice off of a Groupon. She saw me at a practice in Longmont, which is 20 miles away from my practice. And she saw me at a practice in Greeley off of a Groupon as well.
Wow.
Those people are never going to pay you full price, and that you just kind of have to accept with Groupon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the nature of the beast.
That's crazy.
I expect a certain level of retention off of it, and having that process in place is what's allowed me to use Groupon effectively.
So let's get into that a little bit. You mentioned several things. Would you mind sharing, or do you remember what your original Groupon deal was?
I think it was half off of a 60 or a 90-minute session.
Okay. And how did you structure that? Like, how do you come up with, I want to do this or I want to do that? How do you structure your offer?
So initially, Groupon leads you through that.
Okay.
And almost does it for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
As my practice has grown and I have less availability for Groupon clients, we've tweaked that pricing. Mm-hmm. So it's like $20 off of your first session with me, not half off. When you are first launching, they suggest half off. That 50% discount has the highest purchase rate.
Okay.
They're purely working off of statistics.
Right. And it doesn't look like they really care about you. They're just they're just trying to.
So on that, because I love to talk to people about that, if you just go through their website and set it up yourself and just use the instructions that Groupon lays out for you, you are going to feel like just a number to them. You have a customer service rep. Use them. They will make time to talk to you. They will help you set this up to where it works for you.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's not just like, because like I said, in these Facebook groups, or even when I talk to different massage therapists, it's like, this number that's on their back, and that's how they go through. So it can be somewhat a personal process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I have a woman named Sydney that I can call, leave a voicemail like, hey, this part of this is not working. And she calls me back and we get it fixed. We did it yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, you do have a Groupon merchant representative that if you utilize, you can really maximize your Groupon return on investment and not feel like just a number to these people. They don't even know that I actually exist. No,
Right.
Talk to them. You do have to reach out. They're not going to do it for you, but you don't have to just do nothing either.
That's awesome. So you also mentioned something about like a plan or something like that. What do you like? Do you have a strategy, or I'm assuming you do,
Yes.
a strategy or plan before you started using Groupon?
So first of all, set reasonable expectations for yourself. I don't expect a 70% retention rate on Groupon clients. That's not reasonable. I do expect a 20 to 25% retention rate. I have set specific Groupon eligible package deals. Mm-hmm. So instead of having to buy my 6-pack, they get an introductory rate of a 4-pack.
Okay.
I also have some introductory discounts on my monthly autopay options that are offered to first-time clients only.
Got it.
It encourages them to make that decision quickly, and they feel like they are being rewarded for giving my business a try, which is super important. If they feel valued as customers, they are significantly more likely to come back. The other things that I have done to increase that retention is upsells. I don't have hot stones or cupping included on my Groupon, but they can pay the difference themselves and do that. You have about 30% more likelihood of retaining that client if they do a service upgrade.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. And I bet you most people haven't even looked at that. Say it again.
I like numbers. I did a lot of research and background how to set up this process before I agreed to do it.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it also sounds like you're just treating Groupon customers like everybody else. You're not treating them like they got a deal. Is that?
No, absolutely not. It's actually part of what has helped my retention. I've had people come in off of Groupons and say, yeah, I went into this place off of a Groupon and they were like mean to me about it.
Wow.
If I wasn't willing to do the Groupon, then I shouldn't have ran it.
Right.
It's a thing that you have to watch your boundaries on pretty closely. Mm-hmm. And maintaining that. This is a new client. The dog just pulled over a kitchen chair.
Oh no. You need to go.
There was a jacket on it. She was trying to play tug of war. She just almost crushed herself with the kitchen chair, but it's all fine.
Okay, cool.
Trading's fun.
It is. Yep. So, do you always use Groupon, or do you only use it like in certain situations?
So I have a continually running Groupon.
Okay. I
have tweaked it a couple of times since bringing in people that aren't me, and I'm still working on fine-tuning that process for not me. That sales process is a little bit different when you are incorporating other people. Mm-hmm. So that I'm still working on the effectiveness on, but I still have a 30% retention rate, 25 to 30 on most of my Groupon clients. My people that I'm working with have probably a 15 to 20.
And when you say retention rate, I mean, I'm going to assume that people don't understand what that means.
Cool.
Could you explain that for us?
So people coming back at full price. I offer several package deals, and I have had a lot of my Groupon customers purchase those. I also have monthly auto pay options. So they can sign up to pay me once a month and be in my clinic once a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Having those options has been a game changer in my practice and has helped my retention rate significantly. They've already paid for it. They are going to come use it.
How are you tracking your retention rate?
So that is actually my booking system, which I
Okay.
chose specifically because I can run all of these reports and I don't have to manually track it because let's not lie, I don't have the time for that.
Right.
I use Vagaro.
Awesome.
It pre-generates a graph for me. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. Because I know a lot of people, like you said, don't have time. So it's really cool that you don't have to do that. You can just pull it up and there it is, right?
Yes. I've
Um,
definitely geared my practice towards requiring less of me because I have 2 kids. I can't dedicate 6 hours at a time to reports and back end work.
right.
I want my system to do it for me for the most part.
Completely understand that. And so for those, like you said, a certain, so we're talking about your retention rate. I like numbers too, so this is why I like staying here a little bit. So for those who don't rebook, like, are you doing any kind of marketing to get them to come back in, or is it just like, I'm happy with the 25 to 30%? How are you doing that?
So requiring less me and having 2 toddlers, I was working with Robert for a while with my answering service, and he was doing that follow-up sales call.
Okay.
Without Robert in play, I have not generated a good enough system to do that. That is in progress. I'm trying to find a way that's not an email that people are going to ignore.
Okay.
Because let's not lie, you don't have a great even open rate
Right.
on emails like that.
So I found that text messages work, by the way.
Yes. Text messaging does actually work a lot better within my system. I'm looking for a better way to do that.
Okay.
And I actually probably should be investigating that a little further. That's a system that Vagaro just launched.
Awesome.
So I haven't played with it much yet.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely text messages are really, what I found is they really work really well.
Yes, they have a slightly more personal edge without me actually having to call people.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone that's even a little bit introverted, they panic a little bit when their phone rings. They're happy to get a text.
Right. That's how I am too. I'm like, please don't call me. Or if I had to call into somewhere else, I'm like, can I talk to somebody online or something? I don't want to talk to you on the phone.
I freak out over outbound calls.
Yep.
I don't like them.
I'm the same way because I'm like, are they gonna hang up? Are they gonna
Are they gonna be mad that I called?
Right. Are you in terms of like reviews, are you getting your Groupon customers to leave reviews? Is it just like every other customer? Like, how are you looking at that?
So reviews are super important. I think I have close to 50 reviews on my Loveland location right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine that runs a marketing company that is doing review generation for me. That is done via text message, and it texts them a link to leave me a review.
Awesome.
And it's that easy. I have to go get the kitchen chair from Elsa because she is literally dragging it across the living room and asking me
No problem.
And it are wildly destructive.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a husky. I forget what kind she is. And yeah, she was a puppy, and like she came home one day.
Drywall if you let them.
Yep. It was really interesting. And she comes to work and she's like, "Oh my goodness, she tore up this or she tore up that," and I'm like, "She'll grow out of it, I think."
Elsa, come here. All right, you guys get to meet the puppy. Oh yeah.
Oh, she's a big puppy.
She's a sweet little dog. She just needs some love and attention, so she stops trying to pester the cat. So back to Groupon and its efficiency.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, should everyone use Groupon? Like, what are your thoughts? I think we kind of hinted at that, but what are your thoughts around that?
So Groupon is great when you don't have money to market with. If you have money to market, I would suggest other routes, Google Ads, running your own discounts that you can create ads for. If you can run the discount in-house, you are going to get more of your money. If you don't have money to put towards Google ads or Facebook ads or things of that nature, Groupon's going to do that for you, which is part of their service charge or the charge that they take out of what they sell.
Right. Sorry, you were going to say something?
Nope, I'm just distracting the dog.
Is there anything a therapist should consider before doing Groupon? Like, is there any advice? You know, they say they think they want to do Groupon, they don't have any money to do Groupon, to do other marketing. Is there anything that you would warn them about or let them know? Hey, make sure you consider this before you actually sign on with Groupon.
So set your voucher limit properly.
Okay.
Do not set your voucher limit for the maximum amount of sessions that you can do, because then you won't have room to retain your clients. If you don't have anywhere to book them in, they are not going to come back because, well, they can't.
Right.
It makes it super hard to sell. When I was doing the first version of my Groupon, I signed the lease for my office, and then a week later found out I was pregnant with my first. Instant they figure out that you can't get them booked in, i.e. when I was about 8 months pregnant, and they're like, yeah, I'm not buying anything from you right now, sweetheart. If you look like you can't get them in, they are not going to be retained. So that managing that schedule properly is very, very important.
Does Groupon have like an expiration date?
So yes, how that works, that's actually wonderful because people don't know how that works. So people never lose what they paid. So if they pay the $39 for my 60-minute session and it expires, they can still use that $39 as a gift card in my establishment. They just have to pay the difference in the service after that.
That's better for you. I would assume.
You know, I have had people that are like, so I found this Groupon and it's like 6 months expired. What do I do? And they're perfectly fine with, oh, good, I can still use it.
Right.
And they can still use it. They're just going to have to pay the difference. Elsa, she's just like all sorts of spaz right now. Following the rules that you set on your Groupon is super important. If that Groupon expires, it is expired. You do not honor it late. You do not flex on your rules because that will end up out online and that will shoot you in the foot.
So other people will then come and expect you to do the same for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that catches fire super quickly. Set your boundaries appropriately. Like with my sessions, you can't apply that Groupon towards a different service. So I've had people trying to apply the Groupon towards a 90-minute session when they bought a 60. They can purchase an additional 30-minute session from me, but they can't use 2 60-minute Groupons to cover a 90-minute session, which they have tried to do.
Right.
I mean, I'm not super sure why, because monetarily that does not make sense. But follow the rules you set on your voucher. If they're only allowed to come in once off of a Groupon, they're only allowed to come in once off of a Groupon.
Right.
Do not let them come in off of multiple Groupons or they will never stop buying Groupons for your business.
So you should definitely only allow one Groupon per person?
Yes.
Okay.
And Groupon, in theory, will stop them from purchasing another Groupon. Does not stop them from using a different email address to purchase an additional Groupon, which they will try. You do have to be willing to stick to your guns on your policies.
Right.
The other thing that has helped me with Groupon a lot, putting credit card numbers on file. Knowing that if they no-show that appointment, I will charge their card for what they paid for that Groupon.
That's awesome. Do you have any issues with that? Or do people just, they show up or they don't show up and then you charge them and then there's a problem? Like how's your experience?
So in my online booking system, this is part of why I like the system, I created a liability waiver that you have to sign in order to book online. it has you sign and agree to the cancellation policy. There's a few other things that I put in there. Don't lie to me on the intake form. I'm not your doctor. All that good stuff.
Right.
But the last line in that is you agree to have a card on file and agree to our cancellation policy of 24 hours notice.
Right.
It informs them and they have to agree to being charged, which protects me from chargebacks, people disputing the charge on their card. Setting your rules very clearly is super important when you are running deals.
Makes sense. Can you, like, I know Groupon gives you some rate. Are you able to negotiate that rate, or is it just
Yes, you are. Yes. It's one of the things that I see, like, they wouldn't pay me over this. No, that's the automatic system.
Right.
Use your Groupon merchant person.
What advice would you give on someone like how would you negotiate the rate? Like, do you just say I want this, or is it based on numbers, or like how do you go about that?
So what I did, I used car sales techniques where you say you want this number, expecting them to give you this number.
Right.
This number covered my payroll and base expenses.
Right.
That's the number I actually needed. I asked for a number about $10 higher than that, which I knew they weren't going to give me. They can't cover their overhead with that.
Right.
But I did get enough to cover payroll and my base expenses.
That makes sense. I don't think most people even know.
When I was talking to him about that, I point blank told him, I can't continue my Groupon if I can't make any money off of it.
Right.
And they were like, oh, well, we don't want to lose you as a client, so we will work with you.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense. I don't think most people see Groupon in that way. They don't, based on how you've explained it to us today, and I think you've done a really great job, by the way. It's just a tool, right? Yeah. And there are certain things you need to know before you use the tool, but it's not like this end all be all, here we go, kind of thing. It's know how to use it. There's a strategy behind it.
Yes. They do not own you. Oh, that's a good caution, actually. There are third-party companies that will sell your Groupon for you. Don't do that.
Explain
that.
They
will rope you into contracts. I had a company approach me super early on before I knew to tell them no. And they're like, oh, we can fill these spots for you and we'll pay you this much for them, which was lower than the Groupon rate, but those were super slow hours, so I did it anyway, just to find out that they were running a Groupon.
Oh, wow.
Don't let a third-party company run your Groupon for you.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, that's a thing crazy. That exists and gets a little messy. Don't do that.
That's crazy. So you mentioned something really interesting. We're close to wrapping up, by the way. Does your Groupon help you feel like your slower hours, or right now it's just kind of even because you've been doing it for a while?
So it is helping me book my people that don't already have a stable following. I have officially been in practice for 5 years.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. You got to book out a little bit to get on my schedule.
That's awesome.
Grouponers aren't necessarily willing to do that. That's changed a little bit with the launch of Greeley. Greeley is, my location is about 19 miles from my original location. Just by nature of the distance, I'm slower in Greeley right now. Right. So I'm getting more Groupons there. And it's really helping to build up my therapists that aren't necessarily super busy yet.
Right. Awesome. Do you have, because I know we have about 2 minutes left, and I want to give that to you if you want it. Any parting words of wisdom, anything that, if somebody's new, they're considering Groupon, or they're in a Groupon now and they hate it, like anything that you would tell any massage therapists out there about Groupon, or any advice you would leave for them?
Don't go in rearing for a fight. You don't have to fight them. You just have to tell them what you need to make this a mutually beneficial relationship. I've seen a lot of therapists like, oh, I had to yell at my Groupon person. You want to know why they didn't help you? Because they can. But if you had a person come into your practice and start yelling at you, are you going to work with them?
No.
Exactly. They will help you make sure you're courteous when you are asking for help, and just be super honest with them. Like, I was super honest with mine. I can't continue to use you as a marketing source if I'm not making this dollar amount off of these sessions.
Right.
I am making the dollar amount I need to make to cover payroll and taxes. And that's what I asked them for. So they will work with you. Be nice to them.
I think that is advice that we should always use.
Hey, you want someone to help you? Maybe don't start the conversation abrasively.
Exactly. So thanks for coming. This was really, really informative. I had fun. I hope you did as well. I would definitely like to have you back later for the experience you have of growing your second location. That's really interesting.
Adventure so far.
We should definitely do that. For everyone this you're going to be listening to this on replay, so you'll be able to ask questions in the Facebook group. You'll also be able to comment on the replay as well if you have questions for Shayla. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name.
No worries.
Somebody's connecting there while we're ending, but that's okay. But so anyway, the replay will be available later on today. I'll post a link in our Facebook group. And again, thanks Shayla for taking the time to come speak with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.